starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip. But be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize. But it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. Hey! You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing.
Good evening and welcome to SA Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry Austin. Joining me tonight is Rafa. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you, Harry?
Still trying to work out the bugs. I kind of like how it looks. Just it's looks how it goes through, but. You haven't seen the TAPPS brackets. I went through them briefly. TAPPS, unfortunately, their brackets went down for a little bit for that here. A little bit this week. They are back up. So let's take a look, see where we're at. Well, I'm sure Steve at the end of this will go through and say, hey, how well Rafa did or didn't do. I know there are some upsets already for that here, even in our area. That I think will be a little surprising for you. So let's start out. Boys Division 1 through here. So Dallas Parish Episcopal had a double bye. Cathedral got past Trinity 2-0. Got past Legacy Christian, which is one that you thought they would advance. I remember I did catch that. 2-0. Parish Episcopal did get through, so they're in the semifinals up at the top. Bishop Lynch beat Nolan 2-1. JP2 out of Plano had the double bye, so they're the two top teams that had the double byes are in the semis at the top. So no surprises?
No.
Down at the bottom, Central Catholic 6-1 over St. John 23rd. I'm assuming this went to PKs, right? Central Catholic, because I'm assuming 8-7. That's a little bit of a high-scoring game over two powerhouses. But Central Catholic advances, according to here, 8-7 for that here. And then out of the bottom, another tight one, St. Michael's lost 1-0 to St. Thomas. So at state, you got the two schools from Dallas area, Parish Episcopal, John Paul II, Central Catholic, and St. Thomas. If you notice, all top seeds. Not saying anything, just being through here, but anything that sticks out to you?
I think it's pretty clear cut, which we knew who was going to get to, I guess, to Round Rock. Now the question is, can Central Catholic finish the job? Like I said, they've been the brides, the maid of honor the last two times. Can they finally become the bride? on this go around?
Yeah, Jesus, we're going to do the UIL after we go through the TAPPS here real quick for that here. So Central Catholic, tough road, St. Thomas. as we discussed when we did the preview, regular season match for the last 2 years. Had a tough time with St. Prius, who's a quality program. So it'll be interesting to see how they do coming up here. And so that would be March 6th. So next weekend, right?
Yep. Well, this coming up, right?
This upcoming weekend. Yeah. So Division 2 for the boys. Grapevine had a bye. Austin had, I think all of them had a bye, right? Yeah. Oh, actually, no. St. Mary's got by Franzati 1-0. And the Woodlands got by Fort Bend Christian Academy. Brownsville got past Lutheran South. And out of those two, St. Joe's Academy out of Brownsville is in the final in the semifinals. Above them, SanAntonio Christian had a bye, then beat Cypress Christian 6-1, and then Second Baptist School out of Houston got by St. Mary's Hall, so ending St. Mary's Hall on a good season. But then SanAntonio Christian, if it was UIL, Mercy ruled them. I don't think they have that in TAPPS, 11-1. So it sets up St. Joe and SanAntonio Christian, both D3 schools. And then up at the top, you've got the Brook Hill with a double bye. Grace Community School got by Southwest Christian 1-0, and then the Brook Hill beat them 8-0. And Grapevine got past Regents 8-1, and then 2-1 over Cristo Rey College Prep out of Dallas. So top half of the bracket, you got Grapevine and the Brook Hill, both the top seeds out of Division 1, Division 2. Bottom, you got the top 2 seeds out of Division 3. Thoughts on SanAntonio Christian and Brownsville? St. Joe's out of Brownsville, I guess I should clarify.
And now it's gonna, like I said, the trilogy is gonna happen again. So last year St. Joe got the better of them. Can SanAntonio Christian kind of return the favor and get to the final? So who's to say we don't get 2 SanAntonio teams, the boys side in the final? So it'd be nice
to give Grapevine, and I knew you were pretty high on the Brook Hill going through. I think that I forget which one. I'm almost positive both of these were your pick for here. But your thoughts on the top half of the bracket?
For those 2 teams, they're probably gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a war. And so maybe the bottom half teams could kind of maybe catch them on a little rough day, because, like I said, when you get to this point, whoever's on the kind of on the hot streak, yeah. I mean, you saw that one score, that 11-1. So it shows that they're on it. So
yeah, 6-1 in the first round. So they've scored 17 goals and allowed 2 in 2 matches in the playoffs.
So yeah, they're peaking at the right time.
Division 3 for the boys. So Pantego beat Vanguard out of Waco 7-2. Concordia Pflugerville beat Bishop Gorman out of Tyler 3-2. McKinley beat the Highlands 3-2. Brazos beat Faith West Academy 5-2, and St. Thomas beat St. Joe's out of Bryan 5-1. And we knew Geneva had won 6-0. And then JP Do Shirts got past JP2 of Corpus 2-0. And then probably an upset, I would think. I know we had I think you had the British International going all the way through. They got upset by John Paul II out of Shirts 4-3. Geneva lost 5-2 to Northland. However, JP2 Shirts beat Northland 4-2. So you have JP2 into the semifinals. Up top, let's see here. So you had Prince of Peace lose to Pantego So that was a 4 beating a 1 in the same district. So that would have to be an upset as well. I know that fourth team was pretty good though, looking at the records. Convent School got by Concordia 4-1. Uh, Convent Christian Academy out of Colleyville 5-0 over Live Oak. And Hill Country Christian School out of Austin 4-2 over McKinley. And for that here, and then of course you had Carnarvon Corpus beat Brazos, and St. Thomas over New Braunfels Christian Academy. And of course, then you have St. Thomas, and then through here you have the Convent Academy getting by Hill Country Christian, and the Convent School 4-0 over here. So your final 4 in Division 3, the Convent School out of Dallas, the Convent Christian Academy out of Colleyville. So D1, 2, District 2, Division, District 2, 1 finishing in the top spot versus District 1 finishing in the second spot. And then at the bottom half, you have St. Thomas going against JP2 out of District 6 for their both second seeds. So unlike the top one, only one top seed remains.
Yeah. And kudos to Shirts, for like I said,
because I said they had a down year, and now they're in the final four.
Like I said, they must have found the little secret on there as far as trying to get find a way to win. But that game against the British International, if you notice, they've been with the last few years. They've been the team to beat, for Division 3. That's a signature win for them, and I'm sure that's a big confidence booster. And I'm sure that semifinal game they're not going to be taken lightly. And like I said, this could be the year. I know the girls have been had the attention. Maybe the boys finally get to the final and win one. So like I said, anything can happen. But the Dallas area teams, I know that's going to be like I said, it's a tough test for who they face, which are going into the final.
So looking at the girls' Division 1, Dallas Episcopal 4-1 over Legacy. Bishop Lynch 3-0 over Trinity Christian Academy out of Addison. JP2 out of Plano 1-0 over Nolan Catholic. Ursuline Academy by a close score 13-0 over Liberty Christian out of Argyle. St. Michael's. St. Michael's 3-0 over the Village School. St. John 23rd 1-0 over St. Dominic. That one's a little bit surprising to me. Antonian 1-0 over St. Prius. And St. Agnes 13-0 over the Cardinward. And then St. Agnes followed it up with a 7-0 win over Antonian. So they've scored 20 goals so far in 2 matches. St. Michael's got by St. John's 23. So that sets up St. Agnes versus St. Michael's, the 2 best in 3 and 4. Ursuline 5-0 over John Paul II out of Plano. And Bishop Lynch upset, I guess you could call it upset, 2-1 over Parish Episcopal. So I'm assuming Ursuline and I guess St. Agnes, both of them on a freight train. Ursuline's only scored 20 goals or 18 goals in their 2 matches and allowed 0. And St. Agnes has scored 20 and allowed 0. So
something's gonna give.
I think do you give Bishop Lynch or St. Michael's any chance? A puncher's chance, I guess I said, because they got a chance.
I mean, they would have to play a nearly perfect game. But here's the kicker: is you gotta have to can you play 2 perfect games back to back? To win it all. If you do get the upset, how much does it take a toll on you going to the next one? I still think it's going to be the St. Agnes Ursuline collision, and that's probably going to be one of the most dynamite games, for TAPPS. I guess in recent history, as far as you got 2 quality programs, and that's probably going to be the ticket to get to go see.
Moving to Division 2 for the ladies. Let's see here. You had All Saints Episcopal 7-1 over Bishop Dunn. Regents out of a school out of Austin over Coram Deo Academy out of Flower Mound 2-1. You had Grapevine Christian over the Brook Hill School 5-1. You had the Grace Community School with a double bye. You had SanAntonio Christian 4-2 over Fort Bend Sugarland. Then you had the Emory School getting past Frazetta Catholic, and then getting past, and then Cypress Christian got by St. Joe's out of Victoria, and then you had the Emory Weiner getting past them 1-0. And then you had Emory Wine get through there 1-0, and then Houston Second Baptist unfortunately got by St. Mary's Hall 6-1. And Lutheran South got by Munster Kelly out of Beaumont 1-0. So looks like here Second Baptist advanced. I'm assuming on PKs at 1-1, but Second Baptist advanced. The Emory School doing the long path here. Got by SanAntonio Christian 1-0 in a close match. So you got the second seed out of 4, Emory Weiner, versus the top seed, Second Baptist out of Houston at the bottom. Up at the top, you got Grace Community School, who had the double bye but did get by Grapevine Faith 1-0. And then All Saints got by Regents 1-0. So very close matches through here. Up at the top, you got Fort Worth and Tyler, All Saints Episcopal and Grace Community. Down at the bottom, 2 Houston schools, the Emory Weiner and St. Baptist. So no SanAntonio representatives, I think, for the first time, right?
It's been a while. Yeah. I really thought SanAntonio Christian would probably get to the semifinal, but like I said, just a close loss, for them. So maybe hopefully they'll rebound for next year.
And then moving on to the last one here, Division 3. This is where I think you'll be surprised. A team that historically we've seen go there hasn't. The Convent Christian Academy 6-1 over Dallas Mesquite. Irving lost to Lake Hill 3-2. Prince of Peace got by the Convent School out of Dallas 1-0. Pantego Christian Academy lost to McKinley Christian Academy 5-1. The Atonement 6-0 over Veritas out of Austin. JP2 out of Shirts 2-0 over British International. And I'm sure you see the upset there. Live Oak got lost to Geneva 7-1. And New Braunfels Christian Academy beat St. Thomas. So then you have Geneva getting by New Braunfels Christian Academy 4-0. But to me, the Atonement Academy won over JP2. So instead of getting the rematch for the fourth year of JP2 and Geneva, you get the Atonement Academy. So your thoughts on that? To me, that's an upset.
Yeah, well, that's a win for the like I mentioned about the Atonement. How they switched over from fall soccer to the winter soccer. They're the program on the rise, and to knock off JP2, it's a big confidence booster and for them, and regardless what happens, that's something that's going to set the tone for next year that they can really build upon, and they're probably going to be the team to really kind of look out for. They may make it into when we saw this a couple of years ago. They made like a 3-team race. I know with the New Braunfels Christian, but Atonement's kind of, like I said, Geneva cannot take them lightly, and this, like I said, if could Cinderella go all the way and win it, and Atonement's got the momentum.
Up at the top, so first team out of District 1 and first team out of District 2, the Convent Christian Academy out of Colleyville and McKinley. How do the San Antonio area schools face up? But I'm assuming both of them are out of the Fort Worth area
Dallas Fort Worth.
So
Yeah, I'm sure those two are kind of battle tested, and because to say that there's a kind of a lot more teams up there in that area that they can face. I know that McKinney team's been doing really well this year. I think they'll probably be the favorite in the semifinal, but it's gonna be like I said, it's gonna be a tough one. That one can, like I said, that can go to extra time and maybe penalty kicks. Um, and I'm sure whoever wins that game is probably going to be the favorite going into the final.
I'm going to put you on the recorded line here. Geneva or the Atonement? Who do you think gets through? I think Geneva does, but that's
I think you got to give Geneva the edge because of
they've been there.
They've been there, done that. They got the experience, but you can't hang on that because what Atonement just did to JP2. They have momentum going into this game, and they know they can beat one of the top teams. It's an end for Division 3 statewide. And like I said, it is tough to beat a team 3 times, and I'm sure they have a game plan. They probably have a game plan ready to go for this one. It's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be a dogfight, but I'm gonna give Geneva the edge because, like I said, been there, done that. It'll be close, and we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, we end up having a state champion there for the San Antonio area.
So moving over to the UIL side here, and hello Jesus for that here. Soccer standing. About 2 weeks left in the season here. So let's start 4A. Looking at region region 4, obviously District 25 for the boys. 2 teams running away with it: Northeast Early College and Austin Achieve for that here, and then a mess. Burnett, Jarrell, Lago Vista, 3 teams fighting for 2. Really, if Burnett makes it, Burnett automatically goes to Division 1. If Lago Vista and Jarrell, then Jarrell goes to Division 1. So there's still some combinations that still have to be worked out. The only thing that is for secure, top seed for Division 1 is Northeast. Top seed for Division 2 would be Austin Achieve.
Yeah, so those basically Austin Achieve and Northeast are already pretty much set going D1, D2. So it's going to be whoever those 3 can really. It's going to come into the last few games on that. So, and then I don't know what the tiebreaker is as far as district title wise because they did split. Um, they may, like I said, I don't know. They'll play a game. They probably will not because, like I said, they're in 2 different divisions, so it doesn't factor in as far as kind of like when maybe it was last year's rules that have been different. They probably would have played an extra game, but like I said, more likely they're going to end up sharing the district title.
So moving to the ladies for it here, and the reason why I want to switch it to this look here is because there's going to be some screens where we have to go back and forth. So Burnett 14-0, Gateway, Georgetown Gateway 12-2, Lago Vista 10-2, Northeast 8-5, and then probably the only one with an outside shot is Austin Travis Rebels at 6-7-1. But I think these are going to be your top 4 teams out of District 25 along those lines.
Yeah, Burnett could be one of those teams that you maybe don't want to face in that first round, which I'm 26. Whoever's in that D1 bracket's gonna have to deal with them. Georgetown, like I said, Gateway, going to maybe could do some damage in Division 2. So we'll see who they end up playing in those brackets.
Trying to see if I can do this here. Let's see here. Hold on. Hold on 1 minute here. Let me see if I can do some adjustments here. Because I do want to try to have the thing, but I want to be able to control it. Let's see here. Yeah, no, it won't let me do it that way. All right. Never mind. Oh, there we go. Go back to this one here. Transition. All right. So moving over to 26 for the boys. Davenport, 5-0-1. Fredericksburg, 5-1. Marble Falls, 4-1-1, and then a drop off. Bandera, 2-4. Wimberley, 2-4 for that here. Let's see here. So looking at the matchups here, Davenport has Wimberley, has Marble Falls, Fredericksburg, and ends with Canyon Lake. Fredericksburg has Marble Falls, Bandera, Davenport, Wimberley, Marble Falls. I think I said that. Fredericksburg. Marble Falls has Fredericksburg, so that's a big matchup. Then Davenport, Canyon Lake, Bandera. Bandera's hanging on from Wimberley. They get Canyon Lake, Fredericksburg, Wimberley, and then Marble Falls. And Wimberley has Wimberley, Canyon Lake, Bandera through here. Your thoughts looking at kind of the schedule there? Your thoughts on how this shakes up?
So Davenport, like I said, I think just getting a win. I mean, they still got Marble Falls, Fredericksburg, so but getting wins on those two games pretty much clinches the district title for them. The one team that really needs to kind of worry is Bandera. They're not out of the woods
Wimberley,
yet.
yeah.
Yeah, with Wimberley and even Canyon Lake too, because if Canyon Lake wins a couple, it make especially if Canyon Lake beats Bandera and maybe beats Wimberley, beats
Well, so
Wimberley
Canyon Lake has them
right back to
Tuesday.
back. So if they get those two wins, now it complicates a lot of things. But even though they have a strong finish towards the end, Bandera, like I said, they have to get that win at Canyon Lake. I think stealing points at Fredericksburg would be the key there for them. If they can get a tie, I think that helps. And then getting that win, that key game against Wimberley is going to, like I said,
Is it
it's
an
coming
advantage
up.
that they don't play Davenport again?
Yeah,
Because
that's a big
everybody
thing.
else does?
Yeah, but Marble Falls, like I said, they're going to be no slouch either. So Bandera, the key for them is this Tuesday. They have to beat Canyon Lake. If they lose to them or even a tie, that kind of changes this dynamics of this. But for Canyon Lake, like I said, they're going to have to win two and see what happens from there.
The fact that Canyon Lake got shut out in district, you have to kind of wonder if they can muster what? Because they need 3 wins, right? Probably
Well,
3 wins to make it.
Two. Well, if let's say Wimberley just gets 1 win, or they can still,
Because 2 wins just makes them even.
yeah, two makes it even. But like I said, they'll go about a head to head and tiebreakers there. So mathematically, they still have a chance. So Wimberley is, like I said, it's kind of the one in the kind of in the danger zone there because they have, like I said, they have Davenport and they have Fredericksburg at the end. So you got, is it a winnable game against Bandera? That's a possibility, but they will need points there.
So on the ladies' side, not much difference either on 26. Outside, you got Wimberley and Davenport fighting for 1 and 2. And then you got Canyon Lake, I think, safe for the playoffs. I don't know if they've got enough to be able to get to the top seed, and I don't know if they could fall out. I know mathematically they can, but I think they're kind of stuck in that third slot. Then it comes to Marble Falls at 2 and 4, Fredericksburg at 1-4 and 1 a half game out. And I don't think, I know we were given Canyon Lake on the boys' side a shot. I don't know just the depth of Marble Falls and Fredericksburg if we're doing the same for the ladies. How it matches up, very similar. Wimberley has Davenport that'll probably decide first place,
The
right?
district
Most
title.
likely.
That's the district title game right there.
Then Davenport does follow that up with Marble Falls, while Wimberley follows it up with Canyon Lake. So you're going to have 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, this upcoming week. So for Wimberley, they could have that top slot completed by the time we talk next week.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say like Canyon Lake's got the one tie against them, so that could come back to haunt them if they lose to Davenport. Like I said, it was a close game the first time. I'm sure Davenport's gonna be ready for this one. If they do win, now Davenport basically kind of leapfrogs them now, and that tie really kind of derails things because if you look at Davenport, Marble Falls, Fredericksburg, Canyon, that last game of the season against Canyon Lake could be a determining factor there too. So, um, so it's the top two teams. Like as far as district title wise, it's not etched in stone yet because even though whoever wins on Tuesday, I mean, if Davenport wins on Tuesday, still
But then
things can still
drops
be
to Marble Falls or the last
yeah.
game against Canyon Lake, it reopens
Yeah.
the door.
It reopens the door. So it's going to be interesting. And Fredericksburg, I'm a little surprised. Like I said, I thought they were going to be one of those teams that kind of really, that they were going to be, I think, one of the spoiler teams, but they just been, I don't know if they've just been unlucky. Like I said, I've seen them play. They were a very talented team. I know they're a game behind, about a game, like half a game behind Marble Falls. So maybe the second turnaround, they can get a win, kind of leapfrog them. But the big thing is, they got those last 2 games for Fredericksburg is the key there. If they lose those 2, they're pretty much done.
So just to recap, Wimberley will go D1 through there. D2. Davenport will go D1. And then depending on how it finishes out, I think Canyon Lake out of this scenario will go D2 just because they are, 15 kids less than Fredericksburg. So they would go to the D2, and then Marble Falls and Davenport would go D1 for that here. Moving to 27. District 27 for the boys. Lavernia 10-1. The surprise, Cole 9-2. Memorial 7-3-1. Gonzalez 6-3-2. Kennedy 4-7. And then Yoakum, Lowling, and Leadership. This one here, I didn't do schedules because I think the top fours already set for that here. I know Cole and Lavernia will probably battle out for first or second. And through there, but we know Lavernia is going D1. We know Cole's going D2, and like I said here, I think the order on this one, not saying Cole couldn't fall to the D2, but they'd have to lose 2 games through there for Gonzalez for any of them because they have the less schools. So.
Yeah, if Kennedy happens to get in and Gonzalez is out, so that'll push Kennedy to D1, and Memorial will drop down from D1 to the Division 2. That's kind of the only scenario there that would change.
Because I think they only have 3.
Yeah, I think there's two. I think 3 games left.
3 games left, yeah, because there's 4. So 14, they're at 11, so there's 3 games left.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that's a gap that they're not going to be able to to make up. So I didn't do it, except here for it here. 27 for the ladies. Lavernia 18-1, 11-0. Gonzalez, the Lady Apaches 8-2, and then it's a mess. Bowling, Kennedy, Cole, Yoakum, and even the Memorial of the ladies from there are still in it as an outside shot for the last one there. See here, I did because I didn't do the top 2 for it here because I think they're set. But I did for 3, 4, 5, and 6 all the way down to Yoakum. I didn't, put Memorial in. But for the 2 spots, Lowling gets Young Women, Memorial, and then Kennedy. Kennedy gets Cole, Young Women, Lowling. Cole gets Kennedy, Gonzalez, Lavernia, so that's a tough stretch. And Yoakum gets Gonzalez, Lavernia, and Memorial for that here. So I think we're pretty comfortable. Lavernia and Gonzalez, 1 and 2. But how do you see the bottom
Yeah,
half
you see,
shaking out?
if you look at that, if you turn what the games are at, that
Mhm.
Cole game, um, you see that game, the Cole game versus Kennedy's basically an elimination limit. If Kennedy wins that game, they basically eliminate Cole. Um,
Yeah,
because even I think Kennedy take care of business with young women's leadership.
that's true.
And then that Luling game might not even might not even matter anyways because you know they're going Division 2 and Luling's may not be able to catch up
Well,
to.
yeah. Well, it doesn't matter because they're
Yeah,
not. They'll be the second seed for
yeah,
Division 1 and Division 2, no matter
yeah. They may
what.
rest some players there. So Cole, if Cole is gonna make a run, they're gonna have to beat Kennedy, and they're gonna have, like I said, they're gonna have to run the gauntlet there with pretty
That's
much.
a tough gauntlet.
Yeah, that's that. But then you have, like I said, same thing kind of with Yoakum too. They're gonna have to run a semi gauntlet, knocking off Gonzalez and Lavernia. But key game is, like I said, on Tuesday, the Kennedy Cole game. If Cole can win, they're still mathematically in it. But they're gonna have to have some upsets with or steal points on the road at Gonzalez and also Lavernia.
Yeah, to me, like I said here, just looking at it, I know that they can, but barring injuries or Lavernia and Gonzalez not getting off the bus
Mm,
or not showing up to play at home, like I said, Kennedy's got to feel that their spot's okay. I won't say secure because it's not.
no.
And of course, because in high school, as we know, things happen funny. For that here, moving to 28. This one's a little bit kind of mixed. You got Floresville 7-0, Somerset at 7-1, Uvalde at 5-2, and then a drop. You got Pleasanton 2-5, Hondo 2-6, and Poteet for right here. So I think the top 3 are safe as far as where they're going to play. Somerset and Uvalde will be Division 1. Floresville will be Division 2, the first seed in Division 2. Now, of course, there's still a district title that they're going to work out for, but as far as for
Hmm.
playoff seedings for us, it's going to go through. So to me, it comes down to Pleasanton and Hondo for that last spot. So 2 matches for Hondo, the Uvalde and Pleasanton. So a head-to-head, and then Hondo has Hondo, Poteet, and Somerset. So I think each of them has kind of that one where you're not sure that they'd win. Pleasanton versus Somerset, and that's probably a rivalry game, right?
Which one?
Pleasanton and Somerset, both on the south side, or no?
No, not really. I
Not
think
really.
it'd be more rivalry more with Floresville.
Floresville.
But that if Hondo's gonna try to get in,
They got to win
that
this match.
well, they got one thing is they have to definitely have to steal points against Uvalde, but they have to definitely win um, against Pleasanton if they're gonna, whoever wins that game pretty much is in.
Well, because here's the problem for Hondo. Even if they do win, Pleasanton has the game against Poteet, and as much as I like going to the Strawberry Festival, it's been a long years for the Poteet boys for that here. Um, so like I said, so you figure they're probably if you're really probably looking at it, they're probably 3-5, where
Mm-hmm.
Hondo's 2-6, so they have to win. And that's why I think you're saying that they need to get points against Uvalde for Hondo, just because if they don't get points on there, really that match against Pleasanton may not even matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And then moving to District 28 for the ladies. Yeah, Pleasanton 6-1-1. Uvalde 7-1. Oh, I didn't flip it. Flip them. Floresville 6-2-1, and then Somerset 4-4, and then Hondo at 3-6. To me, I think the top four are safe, and like I said here, I think we're missing some of the standings here for that here, just kind of counting out games for that here. But to me, like I said here, you got Pleasanton and Uvalde. Floresville, Somerset will be your top four for that here. And I don't think there's really much. Uvalde and Somerset will be going Division 1. Floresville, despite being one of the bigger schools, will be going Division 2.
Yeah, that could be key there for them, and like I said, going into this game. As far as the girls, like I said, actually, yeah, Uvalde's in first, Pleasanton second, Floresville's in third, Somerset. Um, it's gonna, like I said, it's still a tight race for that district title. It's more, I think, this is going to come down more to the seeding. Um, Uvalde wants to keep on that top seed. I think that top seed for Division 2 for Division 1 is pretty much safe for them from Somerset. Um, the Pleasanton, they can't really afford a loss because Floresville could end up leapfrogging them and get that one seed for the Division 2. So, but Hondo, like I said, Hondo's still in the hunt. Can they do it? We'll see. Can Somerset hold them off? So it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, this has always been a pretty competitive district, and also I just want to send out a shout out to Coach Strummer from Uvalde for sending me the updates here for district for the boys and girls. So thank you very much.
I'm sorry for not correcting that. That's my one miss so far.
Oh, so no worries. So thanks to him there for the updates on those.
But yeah, no. To me, like I said here, and I know Lethal kind of tied on this. From at least from my perspective, winning the district doesn't has lost a little bit of flavor, I guess, a little bit, just because hey, Division 1, Division 2. So I do think, and you and I have talked about it before, where maybe it would be better for them to, from the start, have District 1 or Division 1 28, Division 2 28, and then I think you'll get more of an emphasis on the district title.
I think that's what's going to happen the next realignment. If you look at what football does, I think more like football from 5A, from 1A to 5A, like not necessarily 6A, even though they do it in the playoffs. But as far as district wise, I think in 2 years more, like I said, next realignment, you're probably going to end up seeing that. So that district title will probably much come back more. It'll be a little more meaningful.
And I'm not saying for the schools it's not meaningful.
Yeah.
Because the kids still celebrate a trophy. It's just hard for me. It's, hey, are you making the playoffs, and are you seeded first or seeded second?
Yeah.
For that. So moving to 4A District 29, London, St. SGA, Beeville, Ingleside, and Toulouse Midway. Really, that last spot's between Toulouse Midway and Ingleside, but depending on who gets in, could shake this up as far as. Well, actually, no, it won't, because 595. Yeah, so actually, it won't. So Ingleside probably being one of the smallest Division 1 schools out there. I haven't looked at the others, but through there, because London and SGA will be going Division 2.
Yeah. London would probably be the favorite for Region 4 for Division 2, more than likely going into the playoffs. So, but we'll see who they may have to face. Maybe they run that collision course with Austin Achieve. So we'll see.
And do want to thank FC Ingleside. They do a great job of promoting the brackets for District 29 boys. If you want to do the girls, I wouldn't complain. A little bit more work for the ladies. London once again running the district. Cal Allen 10-1. Beeville Jones, Rockport, and that's what it's. I think there's still a couple of games left for some schools and
Mhm.
for it here, but I think that's going to be your four, which would put London and Rockport in Division Two, Cal Allen and Beeville Jones in Division One.
Yeah, it's basically it's been London Callan kind of Callan show, and it's and actually they're gonna face each other on the 11th of March, so that could determine the district title. You know, and I guess by the end of the week, Tuloso Midway, like I said, mathematically kind of still sort of in it. Can they catch up to Rockport? That we'll see. Because if they do go in, could that, would it change? They'll probably they'll
They would
go
move Beeville Jones down, yeah.
yeah, to Division Two, and they'll be Division One. Um, so anything's possible there.
I'm not saying it is. Then the Fun District, Valley View, 13-1 at 39. Hidalgo, 36 points. Idea, North Mission, even though they have more wins, at 30 points. Although that doesn't seem right. I think I may have that off. I think they have
Maybe
10
shootout
wins.
points.
Yeah, maybe shootout points. No, because I double checked it with them. Idea Far 28, Mozart at 28. So, and then the drop off from there. So, but the top two teams go in Division One. Far and Hidalgo. Mission North or Idea North Mission and Far College Idea College Prep and Vanguard Mozart. It's a race.
I'm sure Hidalgo's not too pleased finishing second. So, but hey, like I said, anything can happen in the playoffs. But Far Valley View, like I said, with like I said, with the new coaching change, they've been on it, and can they could be a team to one of those sleeper teams that you can't look past, and maybe I know the team in the following district's been making noise, but they may be the one that could topple things for them. So we'll see.
And then moving over to the ladies, close. Hidalgo 24, Beethoven 24, Valley View 23, Vanguard Rembrandt 21, and even Rio Grande City Gorilla, the Gators at 18 points.
How
That's a
impressive!
fun district.
Yeah. Well, how impressive the Beethoven team to have only 262 students, which normally you'd be a two A. Um, almost close to the 6-man division, but I mean to still be a contender. I mean, props to those ladies. Um, I think the key is can Rio Grande City, like I said, they're only a game behind. Can they make a move and try to sneak in into into the playoffs, and which would kind of not necessarily change things because they'll still go Division Two. Um, but like I said, it's a tight that district title is a tight race, and it may come down to the last few games for them.
Yeah. Moving to 31, the Red End Invitational, 24-0, 12-0 in district, perfect 36. Donna Idea at 24, who are going D2 by 3 students over Alamo Idea at 22. And then Edinburgh Quest at 17, Monte Alo at 15, and even Weslaco at 15 points for that here. So obviously Progresso clearly winning it. I think Donna's pretty safe at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and even probably Alamo, the Griffins.
Yeah, it looks like there's 2 games left. So you got 6 points up for grabs. So Alamo is pretty much clinched. Alamo Ideas pretty much clinched the playoffs because the only team that's kind of not gonna say in trouble, but could fall off would be the Enderberg if they don't get those 6 points. I mean, they can still leapfrog Alamo
So
if Alamo
one win,
loses.
so one win, and they would be
Yeah,
safe
yeah.
because
So
they'll get
Alamo's
20.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they'll be safe, but yeah. So Multi Alto and Westlake Idea still in the hunt. They just have to win out and get some help.
Mathematically still on the hunt. Yep. Looking at the ladies, Edinburgh, Idea College Prep 11-1. West Laco, 21 points. Oh, I didn't flip it again. West Laco, 21 points. Raymondville at 22. Progresso at 17. Edinburgh Quest at 16, and then a drop off from there. So, to me, like I said here, Raymondville,
Westlake. Yeah,
how did I not move it? Because the color's all off. I think I meant to.
yeah, yeah.
But Raymondville would go Division One. Them and Waslaco should be switched as far as in the positioning there.
Yeah, so the top three teams are pretty much safe, with pretty much with like I said, with about because they do play 16. Well, they play 16 games, so they have 4 games left, so they're almost safe. It's not over yet. Um, even Lyford, if they kind of or Alamo Idea gets on a little hot streak, but I think those top four more likely the top three are going to make the playoffs. Is like I said, it's going to come down to Progresso and Innerberg Quest to see who gets that last spot.
So last one for Region 4, District 32, Brownsville, Idea Riverview, 30 points. Frontier, 27. Port Isabel at 25. They had a rough week last week because the week before they were in first. Brownsville Jubilee also struggled a little bit at 24 points. And I think it really depends on when you're playing the bottom teams here. And then probably the only one that has a shot is Robindale at 21. So they could technically, finish third or fourth from that here. But for the 32 boys, Riverview, Frontier, Port Isabel, and Brownsville Jubilee round out your top four this week.
Yeah, with 2 games left, like I said, it's district title still kind of up for grabs. With even Port Isabel still mathematically in the hunt for the district title, but as far as playoffs, like I said, I mean, Idea could still fall from 2 to 5 if they lose
Yeah.
out. So it's gonna be interesting how this all kind of sorts out.
Moving to 32 for the ladies. Riverview, 9-0, perfect 27 points. Port Isabel at 21. Then Brownsville Jubilee at 13. Rio Hondo at 11. Robindale and La Floria at 9. And then kind of a drop off from there. I think this one was missing some matches for Robindale because they only got 8. And Idea only has 6. So, but yeah, to me, like I said here, and thank you to RGV Soccer Scores for at least having this information out for districts 30, 31, and 32 for both the boys and the girls. It's been a great resource because Max Preps doesn't have a whole lot on these here, so at least we have a talking point. Always when it comes to decision day with UIL, there's always a few surprises that comes from this district, or these districts down at the valley.
My thoughts. I guess they don't promote Max Preps down there in the valley, so especially for District 32 4A. But
yeah,
you know, I think Port Isabel and Idea Riverview pretty much they're dead set. Depending what missing information is, I think you have a 14 race for the last 2 spots.
and moving to 5A. For that here, looking at Austin schools here starting out, Leander Glen 10-0-1, Cedar Park perfect but 8-0-3, so 2 more draws than Leander Glen. Lockhart, Leander, Liberty Hill, and even Leander Rouse still in it.
a bad year for them after the great year they had last year.
Well, Liberty Hill with 5 draws. A lot of draws in this one here.
Yeah, even Leander Glenn having one. That's like I mentioned, they're the team that made it to state. I'm sure they're going to be looking to defend their Region 4 title. I know they're maybe on the collision course with a team here in our backyard. Should if they face each other, should be a good one. But the surprise team, like I said, Lockhart, you got to give kudos to those boys. They've had a good season and they have a shot, to get into, like I said, get into the playoffs. And I would not sleep on them. I think they could pull off an upset, maybe two.
There's 3 games left, and they're
Yeah.
a 2-game lead. So they're at 15,
They're
17
17
points.
points.
Liberty's at
At
12,
15.
15.
Well, yeah, three,
No,
3,
no,
9. Oh, is that
9?
9?
Yeah, because 3 would be
5
9, and 5
Yeah,
would
5
be
ties.
14. Yeah.
14. So yeah, so they got a 3-point, but a game lead. I think if they can win a couple more, I think 1 or 2 more, they pretty much, they can clinch it. But yeah, this has been a tight. I guess from basically from 3 to 6 has been kind of a tight race for those two.
Leander Rouse has never took that step this year. We've been saying, hey, we thought that they would, but at this point here, you are what your record is.
Yeah,
So,
I think they took a hit for graduation, and maybe also, like I said, maybe injuries too. Having injuries late in the season could be a factor as well.
So moving over to the ladies, Cedar Park, the Lady Timberwolves 17-2, 11-0. Leander Rouse 9-2, Liberty Hill 8-3, and then a drop off. Buda Hayes 4-5-2, Leander 3-5-3. Lady Lockhart Lions 3-7-1. That's probably where I would draw the line. But Leander Glenn's got one more draw, for that then instead of a win. So, really, I think it's that 4 slot between Leander Lions and Buda Hayes.
Yeah, it's just a couple of points lead ahead. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna come down to the wire. But what a great season for Cedar Park, for the ladies there. I think they're gonna, especially in Division 2, they're gonna surprise. They're gonna surprise some teams. Actually, yeah, they're Division 2, so they're gonna surprise some teams. In the playoffs, and then they said Buda Hayes also a great season. They'll be going more likely D1 with Leander Rouse.
Wait. So yeah, they should be D2, not D1. So I have that flipped on there. So Leander Rouse would be the ones,
D2, D1, yeah,
D1, not Cedar Park. No. I don't think I've caught that. Moving to 26. Piper 13-0. Bernie 10-2-1. So great season stepping up. New Braunfels 7-3-2. Alamo Heights 6-4-2. Smithson Valley 5-4-3. Kerrville Tivy 5-7-1. And then Bernie Champion, Vets, and Wagner for that here. So I think the top 2 pretty set. Piper, Bernie. I threw New Braunfels into the mix of, hey, could they slip out just because I think, I don't think they will, but mathematically, I guess they can.
They still can. Mm-hmm.
So they got Smithson Valley, Bernie, Alamo Heights, or Bernie Champion, pardon me. Bernie Champion, Alamo Heights, Bernie. Alamo Heights has Bernie, Piper, New Braunfels, and then at Wagner. Smithson Valley has New Braunfels, Wagner, Tivy, Veterans Memorial, and then Tivy, Veterans Memorial, Smithson Valley, Bernie Champion. So for Smithson Valley, these 3 games could
very favorable,
very, very favorable, especially compared to New Braunfels.
Yeah. New Braunfels is gonna have to. Well, the key thing, to run the gauntlet. But the key game
they
for them,
Smithson Valley first.
Yeah, so if they can get a win at Smithson Valley, that really puts the pressure a lot more on Smithson Valley, maybe to try to catch up to Alamo Heights. But if you look at San Alamo Heights, they're not out of the woods yet.
No, they're not.
They're not out of the woods yet, too. So it's going to
Because
come down.
they're the ones that's in danger, if you're asking me.
Mm.
Because when you look at Alamo Heights' schedule compared to
Yeah,
Smithson Valley, now, of course, you got to play it. But Wagner, Tivy, and Veterans Memorial, especially Wagner and Veterans Memorial, have not won a district game yet.
and like I said, those three Alamo Heights could lose those 3 games right there against Bernie, Piper, and New Braunfels. So they have to. If Alamo Heights, they have to steal point. Get wins at both. Those are 2 home games, so they have to get a win against Bernie, and they have to beat New Braunfels to kind of stay ahead of Smithson Valley, because they're that's the key there, is that's going to help them kind of stay above. But like I said, Smithson Valley is in good shape. If they can get an upset win at New Braunfels, because like I said, New Braunfels still have. They also kind of, except for the
New Braunfels has a tough. I
minus
could
maybe
see
the
New
Bernie,
Braunfels not winning a game.
minus the Bernie Champion game, because Bernie Champion hasn't really been.
Yeah, I guess that's the one game that they could win. So out of
And
12
that's a home
points, they
game.
could end up with 3.
Yeah, so that's gonna be like the same thing with Alamo Heights. They could just end up with 3. Simpson Valley can end up with 9. So
Very easily.
it's,
At least you would expect Smithson Valley to end up with 9. If they draw
yeah,
one of their last 3, that would
yeah,
be that
that would hurt them.
that there's no excuse. Sorry, Smithson Valley, but or Wagner, Tivy, and Veterans Memorial for that here, especially because the Tivy match is at home. If it was at Kerrville, maybe it's a little bit different story
Yeah.
for that here.
Tivy, if you look at
Oh,
Tivy,
sorry.
they can still. Like I said, if you look at Tivy, win they could win that Vets, and they could win. I think the only tough game they had left, if you go on,
Oh, you want
I
to go
think,
back to schedule?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Is
Tivy.
Smithson Valley.
If they win those 2 games, now they make things a little more interesting. And that last game against Bernie Champion, which is a home game, that could end up for them sneaking into that, maybe that 4th spot. Like I said, it's gonna come down to those. If can you steal points from teams ahead of you, and then also can you win the games or team that are behind you, and kind of and just kind of stay ahead. So it's gonna come up. Like I say, it's gonna come down to the last games of the season.
So moving over to 26 for the ladies. Piper 10-2-1. Smithson Valley 10-0-2. So I guess Smithson Valley actually would be first, but Max Preps had them.
Yeah.
Piper is first, but so I just went with that order. Bernie, Greyhounds, Alamo Heights, New Braunfels on the outside at 7-4-1, compared to Alamo Heights with the 8-4. And then Bernie Champion's the only one that you'd think with an outside shot for that here.
Yeah, so Spencer Valley's in first place by a point, since they got that big win over Piper. Still has to, like I said, still a little, not some, still a little tough one. Couple games, but they're all home games, so you know, most of them will be home games, so that it's favorable for I guess for Piper, it's a little bit favorable, even though they got Alamo Heights, and that Brennan game could be a tough one. Simpson Valley, they're playing with a New Braunfels team that desperately needs a win. But if they can get a win there, pretty much easy sailings for them, because they have Wagner, Tivy, and Vet, so they can basically clinch that district title win the district title by a point.
Yeah.
Bernie, I think the key for them is, can they win against Alamo Heights, and then steal a point with Piper, and steal a point at New Braunfels, or get a win against New Braunfels, and then Alamo Heights, no favors there for them. They
Bernie
have to
Piper.
win.
Wow.
Yeah, champions.
This one to me is though the big one here.
Yeah.
So even if they lose these two, because they're at 8-4. New Braunfels, or pardon me, Bernie, 8-4-1. New Braunfels is a game back at 7-4-1. So if they did lose, for Burn, or pardon me, no, it's Alamo. Yeah, who is it? Yeah, it's Alamo Heights. Alamo Heights is at 8-4 for that here. So they have Bernie, Piper, then New Braunfels, Wagner. They'll most likely beat Wagner for that here. But this match here would be the big one.
Mm-hmm. Same thing with New Braunfels. They're gonna have to run the gauntlet.
Yeah.
That Bernie Champions game is not a gimme game. That's gonna be a tough one for them. So if you kind of look at it, as far as Spencer Valley, a win against New Braunfels, pretty much they should have no issues winning the last 3 to win the district title by 1 point.
I wonder
Piper's got
who has the tiebreaker between Piper and Smithson Valley, because even if Smithson Valley has the tiebreaker, even if they draw that, you figure that they're going to win their last 3 matches.
Yeah, so I
think that would give them the.
Like I said, they would have to lose the New Braunfels for Piper to kind of leapfrog them back, but still, Piper's still got 2 tough games.
Yeah,
with Alamo Heights and Bernie, that could be the key there. But if Spencer Valley does win on Tuesday against New Braunfels, one, that'll be a little setback for New Braunfels because New Braunfels is going to have to win out. Spencer Valley will win that district title. And let's say Piper does win out. Since Valley wins out, they'll win it by 1 point. So it's a lot of we expected this mess, from the group of death. So
Tybee disappoint you a little bit or no?
It was
it's a tough group, right?
It's just you got probably 6 teams that can win district titles in other districts.
So moving to 27 for the boys, Lanier 9-0-3, Burbank 9-1-2, Edison 9-3-1. So those 3 teams are pretty solid. Jefferson 7-4-1, and then Brackenridge at 6-6 for that here. And I did include Highlands, although I don't think Highlands can make it, but mathematically they can. And then anything stand out to you before we look at the schedule?
Lanier just chugging along. Like I said, even though they're trying to fend off Burbank, they're still gonna. Like I said, they got some games coming up. I think there's 4 games coming up. I know they're playing during spring break. I saw a 9:00 game at Spring Sports.
Northside has that too. Northside has that on spring break on the 11th. They play 5 games. So basically how they would normally split it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's spring break, they've got 5 games scheduled, so I might take the day off and just go and watch here. But Lanier, they've got Burbank.
That's the game right there. That's the district title game right there.
That's it right there. Do you know who won the first one? I could look it up. But
so the first one, that's the one I was there and saw, and the little controversy about the referee getting hit by the ball and letting it go.
I remember that goal.
And if you haven't seen the video, watch the video. That should not have been a goal. The ball should have been stopped right there because
it was a clear deflection. It was a clear deflection.
And then according to the rules, you have to drop the ball there, but I think he mistook it as a play on.
We love our referees. Don't get me wrong.
But, so Lanier, like I said, they have pretty much, like I said, if they win this game, or even a tie too, they pretty much kind of wrap it up.
Well, because if they tie, that would be 9-0-4.
But they're up a couple points. They're up, I think, 2 points. They're up 2 points. So Burbank has to win. And then if you look at Burbank's schedule, it's not a gimme because they got Jeff and
Edison. Yeah.
And if you look at Lanier, maybe a tough one with Brack, but should take care of business with Sam Houston and Fox Tech.
Yeah, you would think. And then Edison only having 3 matches. I think secure for the playoffs, but and with 3 losses, you don't really think that they could make it to the top, where they could maybe that last game would matter.
Well, like I said, if Burbank loses to Jeff and Lanier, and Edison beats Seguin and they beat Highlands, that last game could determine who gets the top seed for Division 1, for Division 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that could really change things. Kind of the same thing with Jeff and Brack. Brack, they have a tough two game stretch with Lanier and Jeff back to back. If
But
they want to make a move,
at least it's against Jefferson. If they beat Jefferson, that would, because Jefferson's 7-4-1, so that's what 22 points. Brack is at 6-6, so that's what 18 points, right?
yeah,
For that here.
yeah,
So 18 and 21, so a 4-point gap. If Jeff lost to Burbank, but Brack would have to beat Lanier. So
yeah.
Highlands is interesting as well because they're not a pushover either at 5-7-1, just outside.
Yeah, they're gonna have
thing here, but
yeah, they would have to win out and get some help.
well, no, I mean for Jefferson. If Jefferson lost to Highlands, because you figure Brack's gonna take care of Fox Tech. Both of them, So if Jefferson lost and won, that puts the gap to 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
Then you figure, let's say both lose to the top 2 teams, that makes that March 10th game basically the win and you're in type situation.
Yeah,
But that's only if Jeff drops points
Yeah.
to Jefferson, to Highlands for that here. So moving over to the ladies for it here. Didn't do anything because I didn't resort this. Highlands is in first place at 11-2. Man, I did this one all wrong. Jefferson at 9-2-1, Edison at 9-3, then Seguin at 8-2, 8-2-1. Those are your top 4 teams, and I think that's why I didn't do this because I was like, oh, this one's an easy one, and I forgot to reorganize it, so my fault. For right here, so basically Seguin would actually be in 4th in this scenario, but still the 2nd seed for Division 1. Highlands would be the Division 1 winner, and Jefferson and Edison would be your top 2 seeds for Division 2. Yeah, so. But nobody's catching them. Sorry, Fox Tech. You're not making up the gap. So, any thoughts on this one?
I think when may come as far as the difference, like I said, district title wise, can Jeff, maybe winning the outright district title, they still have an outside shot. Maybe same thing with Edison. If Highlands happens to falter a little bit, it won't change anything. Maybe unless Seguin also wins some games. Like I said, seeding wise, they'll could change some things. Between the Division 1, Division 2.
Well, looking at
all 4 teams.
Looking at the boys, Highlands and Jefferson play on Monday, on the 4th. Because I'm assuming they kind of match the boys' schedule. So Highlands and Jefferson will. So
that'll be a district title on the line, kind of right there. Well, kind of implications there.
And then Edison has Seguin, so that one also has some weight behind it as well. So top 4 teams are facing off on the 4th. Seguin versus Edison, and Highlands and Jefferson. Need to do this a little bit earlier so I have more time to look it over. Looking at the boys, Southwest 13-0. Did I not update the points? Because it should be
39, right?
39. Yeah, they have 39 points. Because everybody else is updated, right? I almost think that one didn't go through. Yeah, so I just must have cleared up. But yeah, Southwest is at 39 points.
Which I think they've already clinched the district title
Yeah,
already.
they've already clinched the district, 7th one in a
Mhm.
row. Everything else is right, but for whatever reason, they didn't fix that. MacArthur at 28, Southwest Legacy at 28 points. John Jay right now at 21, Harlandale at 20. Southside outside shot at 17 for that here. And looking at here, I have, because the top, or Southwest has already won. MacArthur and Southwest are already secure at 28 points. So Division One's locked in with Southwest as the one, Legacy is the number 2. MacArthur's locked in as the number 1 seed for Division 2. So then it comes down to, it comes down to Tuesday, in my opinion. And, my son goes to John Jay, so does my daughter. So John Jay, Harlandale, Gus, Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday? Yeah. Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Not on the 4th. Yeah, shoot. Tuesday on the 4th. And then Southside plays MacArthur, so you figure if they're out, then, like I said here, most likely they have an outside shot. Jay goes to win, which is not easy. You already mentioned it's going to be 90-plus degrees. And then Legacy, which is already locked into the playoffs at Gus as well. Harlandale has a much easier path, but they are down a point. They go to John Jay at Gus. Home, or I believe it's home against Southside, home against South San. Everybody so far has been able to defeat South San. Sorry, Matt. For that here, Southside is, I think, a little bit tricky for that here, and then South, for that here. But to me, this last spot comes down to Tuesday, Harlandale, John Jay. It's to me, it's as simple as that.
If John Jay can win, they'll jump up to 24 points, and then a win at win on Friday pretty much seals the deal for them, because that'll get them up to like I said, 27.
27.
And then even if, like I said, a win, like if Harlandale beats Southside and South End, they'll still be a point short. Jay can't really afford. I mean, they could get a shootout win, but still, it keeps Harlandale mathematically alive. Remember,
Well,
they get 2 points, so if they get 2 points, they go to 23.
What's the tiebreaker, though? What's the tiebreaker?
It'll be the head-to-head, which that'll go to Harlandale.
Harlandale won
In regulation.
Was it 4-3 in regulation at Harlandale?
So for Jay to kind of avoid that, maybe have tied points at the very end, they have to win on Tuesday.
Yeah,
and they're just gonna and win, because that legacy game might not even matter at all unless they have a slip up with win. Like I said, and then also the Southside game for Harlandale could be like I said, you mentioned it.
Well, they're both tricky games. The March 7th next Friday, both tricky, but you'd figure both teams should be able to handle. Just to me, like I said here, watching Jay and Harlandale, Jay got up early on Harlandale, and then Harlandale had a couple of great scores, and then it just opened up and for there. But Jay seems to have turned the tide a little bit from the first swing. They're performing a little bit better. Defense is still holding strong. Mingo, the goalkeeper, is doing a great job. Making some great saves, and then their offense, like I said here, it reminds me of SAFC of last year when it's not on, it's so frustrating. But when it is on, they play great. It's just that sometimes they're just too direct for me, and only having one forward up top, to me sometimes doesn't help. I do wonder if Jay gets down, if they have the ability to recover. Because the one thing that, if you look at the results from John Jay and Harlandale, John Jay really doesn't have any bad losses, where they're getting blown out. So they're always going to be in contention just because defensively, Coach Poor does emphasize that. They're very strong defensively. Offensively is where, where they'll get shots. It's just whether they can convert. Harlandale in that first match, the speed on the outside gave Jay all sorts of problems, especially after they came back and got the momentum. It's on turf. It's going to be Tuesday. Still supposed to be warm. You and I both went to the Jay game on Saturday. I know AJ, when we went over to Brack West for the first time, was feeling the heat. And so I think, with spring ball, the kids aren't used to the heat, playing in heat as of yet. So it's going to be kind of which team can adjust to that quicker. And then, of course, going down to win, a bus ride for John Jay. Hopefully, as you say, stay hydrated, bring the pickle juice for that here.
Pedialyte.
Pedialyte and
water.
all that fun stuff. So, but yeah, if it comes down to that last week, man, hopefully it doesn't, because Legacy is playing some good ball. Any thoughts before we move to the ladies?
Like I said, just a big game. This is a big game this Tuesday for Jay.
What's up, Ray? How are you doing? So moving to the ladies through here. John Jay, 12-1, survived MacArthur yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. In PKs for that here. 12-1, 35. Southwest, 33 points, still pushing John Jay. McCollum at 30. MacArthur at 26. Legacy outside shot at 21 for that here. So looking at the schedules, Harlandale win, Legacy, Southwest win, Legacy, McCollum. McCollum and MacArthur only have 2 matches left. Southwest Legacy and Southwest for McCollum, so not the easiest. Southside, South San for MacArthur. You figure they're going to take care of business on both of those for that here. And Legacy, they have to beat McCollum.
They have to win out. They're going to have to win out, because that'll get them up to at least to 30 points, and if you look at what MacArthur's they're at 26. So a win, and
I don't even think they can, because
if MacArthur loses their last 2
to Southside or South San,
or they go 1-1, and Legacy wins out, the winner, they'll get in by a point. I think the scenario here is, can MacArthur catch up to McCollum to get the top? And as far as the Division 2 bracket, the top seed for the Division 2 bracket, like I said, if they Legacy, like I said, knowing mathematically they're still in, they're gonna try to they have to beat McCollum. If they lose to McCollum, like I said, they beat McCollum, they still have an outside shot, but that opens the door for MacArthur to kind of leapfrog McCollum, because McCollum does have that a game against Southwest at the very end, and MacArthur could end up with 32 points to compare to McCollum's 30, and that could change some things as far as the seeding. As far as district title wise, I think Jay's I know they're up 2 games, and they still have like I said, they still have a couple tough ones coming up. They can factor in.
Well, they both. So to me, when you look at the schedule, they both play Win, which hasn't won a game. So you figure that's 3 more points for each. They both play Legacy, which can be tricky. The difference is Southwest and Southwest Legacy is a rivalry.
And it was 1-0 the last time they played.
So you get a little bit, and I'm not saying that Legacy won't be up for Jay, don't get me wrong, but you get a little bit more play in your rival school. So then the difference would be Harlandale and then McCollum from there. So to me,
Coach
Harlan.
Coach Connor just say he has 11 wins, not 10 wins.
Oh, Tim. Well, I'm looking at this is
Dan
what
Max
RC
Prep.
Audio Sports has. So
Those Max Preps. It's like,
oh, he's talking about over here on the overall. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
yeah,
But he's got 9 district, right? I think.
yeah, 9 district. Yeah.
But a question here for it here. Jesus, who's listening from the start here. Do y'all think Southwest Boys are a contender team? So he's obviously not talking about the district. He's talking about for the region for that here. So your thoughts before we, little bracketology tease.
Well, for Region 4, they have to be the favorite. Now, you do have Leander Glen. How they match up with Leander Glen, we'll find out. Now, beyond that, when you get to state semifinal or state final,
Dallas,
Houston, that's a whole different thing, especially with the Kukui, Wakeland, will be in D1. And like I said, which also just a little tease right here, I do have some rankings coming out for statewide. They'll be coming on 50/50s on their X page. I just sent the girls in. That was tough. I'm still working on the boys. But there's some surprises on that, so I'm just gonna leave it as that. So tune in. I think Southwest can go deep. I think they just have to stay humble because the thing is they have a target on their back, and every team's gonna throw everything at them. Because like I said, every team's gonna know what do we have to lose. This is a team that's supposed to go win the region. They're gonna throw the kitchen sink at them. I think the one game. I think if they go on, maybe start off slow and struggle, that could be a factor. Like I said, remember they did that game against Legacy. That was it. I think that's one of the close games that they've had all season. So that doesn't mean they're not invincible yet, but the way they've been playing, like I said, they've been consistent. They've been playing great. I think it's gonna. The key is can they win that regional final if they do face Leander Glen, and which they're also considered one of the favorites too because they did win they are the defending Region 4 champs for 5A.
No, I like I said here. The most out of District 28, the team that I have the most confident going deep, whether it's boys or girls, is Southwest on the boys' side. No offense to the John Jay, Lady Mustangs. Like you've got just, I think that second round match is going to be very, very, very tough. Come bracketology, if it was today, I'm not sure I have the ladies' things getting past the second round, and we got to see how it shakes out. I know I'm not putting Rafa on that as of yet.
You saw Cedar Park. You saw the Cedar Park girls. I mean, Cedar Park girls are they're going Division 2, but if you look at the other ones, I mean, you have Leander and Vista Ridge and all the some of those teams. It's like I said. You also have the other team, the other group of death, which is 26.
Yeah,
I mean, kind of pick your poison there when you play in the second round.
So it'll be interesting. The little bracketology tease, which we need to firm up and get some dates set up here for that here. So moving to 29 for the boys. Flower Bluff 14-0. Vets Memorial 11-2-1. Corpus Christi Carroll 9-3-1. Gregory Porton 6-3-3, and then a drop off. I guess Corpus Christi Miller. I don't think they're still mathematically here, so I think that's going to be your top 4 for the boys. Along those lines with Flower Bluff and Carroll going. No, pardon me. Veterans Memorial and Carroll going D1, and Flower Bluff.
Would be
Flower Bluff.
And Veterans D1.
Yeah. And Carroll and Portland going D2. For that. One of these times I'll get this right. Moving over to District 29 for the ladies. Gregory Portland, perfect 14-0. Flower Bluff 10-3. Corpus Christi Ray 9-4. Vets Memorial 9-4. And then a drop off from there. So I think for 29, I think it's set.
Yeah.
I don't know if you disagree on that or not.
Yeah, it's pretty much set. Yeah, King's not going to catch up to Veterans Memorial.
So now, like I said here, on this one here, who finishes? So you got Flower Bluff and Vets going D1, and Gregory Portland and Ray going D2. And I think the position, well, I guess positions may not be set for D1, but because 10-3, 8-4.
I think Flower Bluff would probably end up the top seed for Division 1. Now keep an eye on the Gregory Portland team in Division 2. They could be one of those dark horses. They've had a great season. They got a lot of great players there, and I think for them they get to avoid a lot of the powerhouses that mostly all of them are going to go to D1. I don't know. You still have some in D2, but I would keep, especially I think they could possibly get to that third round game. Depending if they don't run into maybe McAllen or McAllen Memorial.
So looking at 30 for the boys, you got Laredo Nixon, 29 points. Juarez Lincoln at 28, Martin at 26, Mission at 25, Palmview at 24, and Rio Grande City at 19 on the outside fringe. But I think it's really the top 5 for it here. Anybody kind of surprised Palmview's on the out based on
but I think they still got a shot. Like I said,
who are you knocking out?
I think the game between them and Missions is probably going to be determined. The one, the surprise has been Laredo Nixon. Juarez Lincoln's been the favorite the last few years, and this might be the first time one of the Laredo schools finally wins this district. From the Laredo ISD. Like I said, that's another team that I'd keep an eye on too. With Nixon, Juarez Lincoln. Like I said, if they can I think lately they've been playing a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're kind of starting to peak at the right time. Another dangerous team is the Laredo Martin. Very savvy team. They have some talent. Kind of little jiggle and hide, but you cannot take them lightly. So they could surprise some teams in the playoffs.
And let's look in here. Moving to. Moving to District 30 for the girls. Nixon and Palmview at 31 points. They had, this is how it was set up in RGV Soccer, so I'm assuming Nixon has the head-to-head so far over Palmview. Juarez Lincoln 28, Memorial 26, Martin at 24. So still 5 teams battling for 4 slots for here. Nixon and Palmview will be battling for first place for Division 1. Juarez Lincoln, comfortable-ish for that?
Still, I would. Like I said, Martin's still within striking range. They could literally, Juarez Lincoln could literally fall from 3rd to 5th. So it's such a tight race. It's not over yet. But also, Juarez Lincoln's not also striking distance for the district title too. So that's crazy that you're a game behind for the district lead, but then you can still fall off out of the playoffs.
So a question Michael put, we'll do this state predictions in this video. No, that'll be under the 50-50 podcast. That'll be showing. Do you know when you guys are doing that, Rafa?
Well, as far as state predictions, I'm not sure yet. I don't know if Michael's referring to bracketology. For bracketology, we're more like, I think this year we'll be able to pick a state champion
Oh yes, because it's all through
because
there. But yeah, the bracketology, because that'll
yeah,
be
certification's on the 18th of March, so hopefully by the 19th.
so on the 19th, and then it starts on the 20th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the first matches could be the 20th. So the 19th will be when we're going to be doing the bracketology show. We'll probably break it up for here, but if you're talking about Rafa's rankings for the 50-50, that'll that's with Coach Kano, and that's on the 50-50 podcast.
That's coming out soon because I did give the girls rankings. They're pound for pound, so they include 4A, 5A, 6A. I don't split them up in three. It's pound for pound. So I'm working on the boys right now. Hopefully I think they'll come out. I think this maybe tomorrow, Tuesday. We'll find out. As far as the show, I think we had talked. I think I talked to him yesterday about that. That'll be coming soon. I think we're going to discuss that.
So, and then there's another storing that's brewing in the valley that we will probably touch base coming up on. I think they're 6A, right? As far as
Or 5A.
Oh, they are fire. So they're coming up very soon.
They're coming up soon.
Very soon for that here. The next district, actually, 31 for boys. Mission Sherryland, 11-1, 33 points. Pioneer, 28. The two McAllen schools, 23 and 22. Or the three McAllen schools, 23, 22, and 21. So good luck on figuring the three McAllen schools out on two get in, one gets left at the bus stop.
Yeah. Yeah, Sherland, like I said, they're the favorite. Like I said, they've been a state champ before. Keep an eye on them. I think for them to go to Division Two, they can make a run. I think they have talent to make a run. We'll see how the matchups go. Um, great year for Pioneer, not known for soccer, so great for them. But yeah, it's gonna come down. The three McAllen schools are gonna. It's gonna come down to the final games to see who gets those last two spots and gets to play in Division One.
So, District 31 for the girls. Memorial, 39. McAllen, 30. Pioneer, 25. Vela, and then Rowe at 21 points. And Rose kind of came on late. I think early on you said to kind of watch out for them, don't bury them too much. And here they are trying to sneak in and get in over Edinburgh Vela.
Yeah, so McAllen Memorial has wrapped up the district title. I think they're back-to-back district champs for 31. McAllen, I think they've already clinched the playoff spot. Sherryland Pioneers trying to kind of hold on because they started out hot. They had a win over McAllen High, and they were contending, but they've kind of fallen off here. Like I said, there's three games still left in the season, and like I said, McAllen Rose still has mathematically a shot. If they win out, they can get in. Same thing with Vela. It's going to be again. What was there something wrong with the? It says nope, wrong again.
I don't know.
So, like I said, it's gonna be interesting how.
Maybe bracketology, Ray. We'll send an invite for bracketology. Get that local flavor.
But like I said, McAllen Memorial, them and going to Division Two is probably gonna. Like I said, they could end up doing some damage coming up through the playoffs. But we'll find out. Like I said, 3 games left. We'll see how this finishes out.
So initially we were going to be doing Brownsville Lopez at 42, Harlingen South, Brownsville Porter, Brownsville Rivera. However, I don't know how valid this is, but Hala McGraeus said entering fact this coming Monday, March 3rd. There will be a DEC meeting in District 32 5A due to the fact that Brownsville Lopez men's soccer team has been fielding a former professional player. There is a copy of his contract with salary, dates of employment, signatures floating around. Brownsville ISD's officials are intimidating everyone who's employed with the district about speaking up. The player played professionally in Reynosa and Matamoros. So, first of all, we don't know if it's valid or not, but from stuff that we've been able to reach out to Lethal and other individuals, there seems to be some smoke to this.
Yeah,
What is a DEC? Is
it's a district committee. It's a district committee.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're gonna make a decision on this. I guess from 32.5A on whatever that was brought up. Like I said, they have to show evidence and so forth. Um, hopefully that evidence is correct, because if not, that person may face a lawsuit.
That's
um, and hope you're correct. Yeah, district executive committee. Yeah, for 32.5A. Um, it it's been said in the past with some. Like I said, I've been reading some comments, and they said in the past with some teams from that area, they've had players from across play over here. I think this is the first scenario that quote unquote a professional player. I think if the player in question may have played professional, signed a professional contract at I guess maybe I don't know what age. I'm sure he's under 18. Played for that
hopefully.
team. Yeah, hopefully, hopefully.
Let's not
They
say
have to
he's
check
not.
I guess they have to. Well, he didn't mention birth certificate, so like I said, so they had to still enroll in school. They still have to check that, but so that was not on the evidence there. But um, I did speak to somebody who is in that I know that's in that district. They're gonna find out for me more info on it. So once I hear more from, as far as once I get that info, I'll kind of hopefully relay it back. Um, but like I said, if this is true, you know, this is going to be a very big black eye for this program. Like I said, Lopez has been one of the best programs in the valley, and
Well, people will most likely be fired over this, right? This is one of those
well,
things
yeah,
that will cost people's job. And I'm not suggesting for people to be fired, but if
it's going to happen.
you look at their record, they're 16-1-1, 14-1. Brownsville Lopez historically has been a great team for they here to give a black eye to the school, because I'm assuming they would have to forfeit all those games, right? So then they would go out of the playoffs, or any game that he's played, they would have to forfeit. You would figure that they're going to fall out of the playoffs, if not other repercussions. And so that would put where Donna North and Brownsville Pace could possibly be back in the hunt. Now, the good thing is there is a little bit of time for this, because it's the 16 days till decision day. Because they're going to have the meeting, whatever the result. Let's say if it's negatively towards Brownsville Lopez, most likely they're going to try to appeal it, I would assume. There's an appeal process that they can go through. So it's not something to where, to me, the good thing is this came out early enough to where it's not going to cost a team a playoff spot, possibly. Number one, I think it's really horrible for the Lopez players to be put in this position. And if it's the coach and AD and whoever and the administrators that knew about this, or even if you didn't know about this, but you didn't do the homework on the players that you're bringing in, I'm not sure how much recruiting goes on, but I'm assuming this isn't the first time that this has come up where this has possibly been an issue. Down on the border, but so hopefully it's not true. But
so the team in question that he played, it's they're a third division, third level professional, pretty much like the third division. It was formerly a second division, but it's a third division. Um,
Does he have to play with them or just sign a contract? I guess is that a question?
that's if you look we'll take a look at like SAFC, like how we have our academy players. If that was the situation, so take like our academy players at SAFC, they're not getting paid to play.
Right. They're a
Because they're not.
professional contract, but it's not.
It's not that. So if they prove that, so technically he is not considered. He's not getting paid to play.
Jose
But
Gallegos is a prime example of that.
yeah, because he played with Central Catholic, played with SAFC. So if he's proven as in that scenario, it's going to be dismissed. But if he was given an actual contract to pay, and then also if you look at some of the or NISA teams, some of them pay for like their foods and meals, and they're still considered kind of semi-pro. They get college players and high school players, so they're not technically considered pro. As far as being a paid player. So it's gonna if they have that paperwork. Well, here's a key thing: if he signed a contract, he'd have to have an agent, and whoever's whoever's
Could have been
representing
mom or
him.
dad. Could have been mom or dad.
Well, that or he definitely had to have a lawyer to read that contract if he did sign a contract. So it's a situation that like I said, it's a no-win situation for the Lopez players out there who are on this team. But also if it is true and the coaches knew about this, and also the athletic coordinator and the Browns ISD, yeah, some heads are going to roll there. And then,
well, to me, the one nobody's talking about is him stating Brownsville ISD officials are intimidating everyone who's employed with the district about speaking up. There's two levels. There's the player at the local level, but then you have at the ISD, the district level, supposedly some allegedly, because I don't know, I'm just reading the tweet here, allegedly trying to intimidate people as well. For me personally, I don't understand why somebody in the ISD would really do that, because Brownsville Lopez, let's say if they even win a state title, does it really do anything for the school? They get a trophy, but there's really not any financial gain, right?
yeah.
So to me, from a ISD level, outside of the perception of it, the black eye that it would give the program, but schools have had mistakes like this. And if it is a mistake, they'll remove the people that made the decisions. But to me, there's the school level, and then if true, if there are people within the Brownsville ISD office that are intimidating people, that to me should be a bigger story than what it is.
And which, like I said, I haven't seen anything on like RGV Sports or any of the media down there, so it hasn't been brought up to that. I will say this for others that are kind of talking about it and saying that they've been doing this for years and this and that. Wait till the facts come out.
Yeah.
Just wait till the facts come out. Because there, like I said, there are so other schools here in this state too that get players to switch schools to go to magnet schools and play for their team. So
yes,
that
there is.
So and I've heard stories about that, and
even here in San Antonio, there are a couple of schools that
have been questioned about that. So let the facts come out first. The thing is, it is a black eye on this, and if it is true that they're, they get are found guilty on this, and I know as far as Lopez's Coach Escalon's been there for a very long time. For him to kind of allow this, I'm a little surprised about that.
If it is true,
if it is true, and so this is gonna take, like I said, it's really gonna be a bad thing for Brownsville ISD, like a black guy moving forward. If this been proven true by the situation and so forth, and the UIL is gonna have to really, kind of hammer down on a lot of these. It's already tough enough for kids. How to the transfer
Hey, I
from
know that
school.
personally.
Yeah, you know that personally. So and like I said, there's also a bill floating around. Then they may allow that one-time little transfer to allow them to play. That's some controversy on that too. So, and I know some schools and coaches are not in favor of that, but like I said, I think this is something unprecedented. That I don't think it's really happened before. But out of this, with all the kind of like I said, nothing but positive things have been happening with high school soccer these last few years.
Hmm.
Like I said, it's been gaining popularity. Something like this does not help it. You know, maybe you hear it maybe on the football side of things. Um, you know, but for them to if they knew that player was already playing on that team, if like I said, allegedly, like I said, to it's not smart to put them on your roster and so forth.
I just
Now,
don't.
if he goes to school there to go to school there, that's a whole different thing. But to get his education, but as far as playing, knowing that he was maybe under a pro contract, then yeah, you should know better than that.
So let me ask you this question, then we'll move on. Do you think the school would have, like, let's say if the player would have transferred in or his family would have moved in? Let's say he's a junior, senior. For that, we'll say he's a senior because he has to be 16 to sign a contract, right? Even in Mexico, or
Mm-hmm.
so 16 would be junior, depending on when your birthday falls.
Sophomore,
Uh,
junior year.
Sophomore, junior. So let's say he's a senior this year that transfers that moves in from Mexico up to there. For the school, obviously they got to check his grades and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But going from a foreign country, which Mexico is a foreign country, to the United States, do you think that the system is set up to be able to flag that, to be able to go in and research that, or is that something that the player or the parents would have had to say? Because I just find it hard to believe. I'm hopefully finding it hard to believe that Branzo Lopez would purposely do this because of the
Mhm.
program that they have.
Well, remember this: he could be a U.S. citizen that played.
No, that's
And
true.
I'll give you an example. So when I was with Club America, when I was their academy director, our owner here. So when we took a player to take down there to the Mexico City to be looked at, if he did like I said, he did get signed. Like I said, we took some good kid. I think we had two players that were 17 at the time that got signed. Now they're still playing high school, but they didn't play professionally. Like I said, they signed the contract, but they waited. Now talking to a Club America, like I said, I remember when they brought the U22s, talking to the coach, I was working with them. They were asking me questions since I work for a university. Can those players play in the college here if they don't make the first squad? And I tell them, well, if they're getting paid, they cannot. Like I said, they lose their amateur eligibility. So it's if they're playing the academy and not getting paid, then yeah, they can play college ball. So this kind of the same situation here. If he wasn't if he was under an academy contract not getting paid, he literally can come back. Even if he's a U.S. citizen, he can come back because they do have schools down there. That's a whole different scenario as far as academics. Going to have to go through transcripts on that. So he was allowed to enroll at the school. Technically, he can be enrolled in the school, but if he did play professionally down there, yeah, the playing. If he did get paid, then yeah, his amateur status is gone, and he should have not been allowed to play. If he was under academy not being paid, they're just paying for his meals in school. That's a whole different thing, and that result what happened like with Jose Gallegos too, like I said with us here at SAFC.
So, for me personally, hopefully it's not. Just because Brownsville Lopez is a respected program, and they'll still be respected again. Just I hope they didn't make do something that's going to give them a black eye and unfortunately diminish the sport slightly for that here. But moving on to District 32 ladies before we get to 6A, because we do also got the FanCast in an hour, so we got to try to get this wrapped up. Harlingen South at 44. Ed Couch Elsa at 34 or 44-34 for Ed Couch Elsa. Brownsville Lopez at 33, and Donna North at 32, and then Brownsville Rivera at 26. I guess an outside shot for Rivera, but to me, I think the top four most likely are pretty set, depending on
Yeah.
2, 3, and 4. That you could see some volatility in
Yeah,
as far as how fish.
Yeah, 3 games left, so Rivera mathematically still in it, but they're gonna probably have to win out.
So moving to 6A, District 25, Vista Ridge 11-1, Vandergrift 9-2-1, Westwood 7-3. McNeil kind of getting some space now, 7-5-1. Manor and Round Rock kind of rounding out, but like I said here, I think Vista Ridge here 11-1. I think you said, was it this one or the next one that I don't remember which one that it was, so I won't bring it up. But for Vandergrift, like I said here, 9-2-1. Westwood. You think anybody will catch Vista Ridge, or you think they're kind of locked into the top slot?
I think they're locked in, and I'd keep an eye on them. They could be the surprise, you know, another dark horse for Region 4. You may see them, could possibly see them like pound for pound for statewide.
I'm going to say you're going to see him for that here. Manor, Round
Manor's
Rock.
got a chance. Yeah, Manor and Roderick still got a chance.
You just don't like McNeil. I like McNeil, so I'm rooting for McNeil. Moving over to the girls, Round Rock, the Lady Dragons 12-1, the Lady Vipers 9-3, Round Rock Westwood 8-1-3. So, like I said here, those two kind of battling out for the top seed for Division 2. And then Cedar Ridge at 6-6-1, Vista Ridge at 5-4-3. I think are the kind of last two to be able to make it for that here. Would be interesting if
Vista Ridge gets in, then
then Westwood goes up to D1,
which I'm sure they wouldn't want that. Because they might have to face Lake Travis, I guess.
Speaking of Lake Travis, Westlake is the one that had the loss, right? That kind of surprised you a little bit.
Yeah.
Lake Travis 7-1-1, Bowie 6-3-1, Dripping Springs. I tell you, 3, 4, and 5, it changes every week. 5-3-2, Westlake 4-3-2, DeValley 4-3-2. They're supposedly on the outside according to Max Preps. But to me, I guess even Bowie's not even really safe, right? No. 2 games from there.
Yeah, with like I said, because they have 90 with 3 games left. It's still not. Like I said, it's still up in the air. Like you mentioned, they've been kind of flip flopping those spots, and looks like no one wants to do in the gets kind of finalize things. But great season, like I said, for their coach there at Lake Travis. A little bounce back. As far as from last year. Keep an eye on them. I think. Like I said, they could be one of the favorites here for Region 4. But if
Bowie would be the second for Division 1 because they're at 2904. Westlake's at 28, so they'd go Division 2.
Del Valley gets in.
They go Division 1.
Yep. So things can still change there. Dripping Springs is going to be in Division 2 regardless of anything.
Yes. And Lake Travis is going to be Division 1. But Dripping Springs may not make it.
Yeah.
For that here. Moving to the ladies for 26. Lake Travis 8-0-1. Westlake 6-0-3. Bowie 5-4-1. Dripping Springs 5-4-1. Austin Maroons at 3-4-2. Still mathematically in it, but I just, I think the top 4 is set now as far as, even probably as far as order too. Like I said here, I think Westlake will be your number 1 seed for Division 1. Bowie will be the 2nd seed. Lake Travis will be number 1 for Division 1. Westlake will be number 1 for Division 2. Dripping Springs will be the 2nd seed for Division 2. Moving to 27 for the boys. Brandeis 8-2-1. Reagan 7-2-2. Johnson 7-3-1. Lee 6-2-3. Churchill pulled off some upsets this week, but 6-5, and Madison 5-5-1. Looking at their schedule for that here. Brandeis gets Madison, Roosevelt, Reagan. Reagan gets Churchill, Clark, and Brandeis. Johnson gets Lee, Churchill, Clark. And I guess the tough one would be Lee, right? Johnson, Madison, and Churchill.
Yeah, you can say that. Also, I would also think Reagan too, because you remember last year, there
But
were kind of in the
Clark's down, though. Clark's
well,
down, though.
no, but I'm saying they'll win that game, but that Churchill game could be a tricky game because, like I said, you
Yeah.
mentioned Churchill. Churchill's kind of have won some key game these last two games. That's not a gimme game, and they can't take them lightly. But if Reagan can get that, they put themselves in really good position because then that'll bring up with that game against Brandeis could be for the district title. Lee, like I said, Lee, I think still kind of needs to kind of win some games, but Churchill can end up becoming a spoiler.
They just got a lot. They got a big gap to go to catch, though.
Well,
that's the issue for them.
Yeah, but as far as just being a spoiler from teams from making the playoffs, or
no, because they're the fifth. I think Madison's below them.
Yeah, but as far as like costing teams like maybe a district title or a seeding,
district title, yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant about them. They could be a spoiler in that, So it's and then the key game too, like I said, Johnson and Lee. If Lee loses that game, that kind of does open the door a little bit for Churchill, but Churchill would kind of have to run the gauntlet.
They play Reagan though. That's the issue. They play Reagan,
but like I said, it's not a gimme game on that one too. So, but if Reagan can win that game, should take care of business with Clark. The last game again, Brandeis could be all pretty much for the district title there for the season.
I will say though, if Churchill is able to run Reagan, Johnson, and Lee, they deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it to create a fifth spot.
I mean, that's what happened last year. If you saw that, Lee did the same thing because they were in fifth, and they came and they ended up in third, and they ended up knocking off. And then Reagan was the one that ended up being on the outside. So, could history be repeating itself this year? We shall see. Like I said, this district's very unpredictable. So, but like I said, you have to bring it every night.
Moving to 27 for the ladies. Reagan 8-3. Johnson and Lee at 7-2. Brandeis 6-3-2. Clark. My bad. I didn't do this. I ran out of time. Clark at 5-2-4, and then kind of a gap for that here. I think I ran out of time on trying to get the schedules here for the ladies. Shoot, my bad. Took AJ to a coaching thing for a premiere, so that I should.
Yeah, Brandeis is kind of fallen off. They're kind of the hot team, and they've kind of cooled off a bit. So it's coming down to Reagan's kind of now taking charge of the district. Still ahead, by like I said, by a few points. So it's not over yet. But they did have a setback. Lee girls knocked them off, so that's a big setback for that. So
Lee's on a roll. I will say that Lee is on a roll.
Girls, yeah.
Johnson had a good win. I saw them against Madison.
Clark could still get in. The way Brandeis is playing, like I said, Brandeis still has to play Reagan in that last game of the season. And that could determine a lot of things there. I mean, even though Clark also has to play Reagan too, but that last game of the season could determine things, who gets that last spot.
Moving to 28 for the boys. I think top 4 is already set. Warren, Brennan, top 2 teams for Division 1. Harlan and O'Connor, the top two teams for Division Two. Right, 2601
Mm-hmm.
and 24. Yeah, Warren, I got corrected here because we had that wrong last time. And thank you for reaching out to us. Marshall, plucky team, just coming up a little bit short
Short.
to be able to kind of get the consistent win that they need. But you got to give credit to Warren being, I thought they'd be good, but I don't know if anybody had them this good.
Yeah. It's a great season for the boys. I got to see them play on Tuesday night. They had a tough one with Taft. They came back and found a way to win. Like I talked to coach after the game, and so yeah, they've been kind of getting by the skin of their teeth. But he said, hey, that those are the type of games they're probably going to see in the playoffs. So it's a confidence booster for them and the boys. Like I said, I think they know what's in hand. I think if they win the next game, they pretty much wrap up the district title, which Harlan's been having a stranglehold on that for a while. As far as the rest of the teams, like I said, great season for Brennan. Harlan, like I said, little down, but still dangerous team. I saw them play. Also, they're there on
You
the
say it's down. They've lost 3 matches in district.
yeah, but down. Yeah, I mean that's a down year for them.
I know it is, but that's such the high bar that they've set the last few years.
Yeah, and then O'Connor, like I said, O'Connor's still
rebounding from last year, missing the playoffs.
Last year, but they're like I said, they're still within striking distance of trying to get that 1 seed for for Division 2. So things are not over yet as far as maybe seeding wise for those two. We'll see. But like I said, Warren, 1 win away from wrapping up the district title.
Moving to the ladies, Taft. What more can you say about the Taft? And I think both of our opinions, best goalkeeper in SanAntonio area. Warren right behind at 10-1-1. O'Connor 8-2-3. Sotomayor 7-4-3, and Brennan 6-4-3, and then it's a drop off from there. But to me, Taft lost a lot of talent last year. Still bringing back, having the perfect season so far in District 28 for that here. So hats off to the Lady Red Raiders. Sotomayor, can they hold on to that final playoff spot?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be the key there, and I think they are facing each other. I think not too. I think they still have each other.
I got this one here actually. So I missed the other one. So Taft has Harlan, Brennan, O'Connor.
I guess not. Yeah, so they're not. They don't. So, but that's a key game there for Soto against Warren.
With only 2 games, Warren.
But Brennan's got. And I said Brennan should take care of business with Stevens, but they have to win out against
last 2.
That's going to be tough. That's tough there, So the deck is stacked there for the Brennan Lady Bears, but hey, but don't count them out. Like I said, they're a talented team. Anything can happen. Taft pretty much, I think they beat Harlan. They'll win more likely end up the district champs pretty comfortably. Will they start kind of maybe resting some players a little bit towards the end? We'll see. Should be a fun one on the 11th against O'Connor. That'd be a fun game to see. I don't think there's a bit. I think it's been a while since the team's actually gone. I think the full. I think 15 or 16-0 there in this district. So
for the ladies, yeah.
For the ladies, and for Taft to do this, especially all the firepower they lost last year, that's a great accomplishment for them. So kudos to them. Warren, like I said, this at the knockouts at the Mayor should have no problem with Harlan and Brennan there. Warren's got a good squad. They had a lead against Taft. They start first, but Taft just found a way, scored 3 straight, and but still, Warren's still a good team, still a dangerous team. We'll see if they can. Do they have enough to maybe get a first round one? We'll see from there.
Yesterday when we were talking about just kind of area teams and how Jay stacks up against them, one thing that stood out to me, what you said about Taft, was last year they had maybe more star players, more fire players, But this year, they're a more complete team defensively
balanced
and
team.
offensively, where they both work together. So that's where I think last year they kind of learned together, played well, had the star athletes that moved up to college and D1 programs. But this year for Taft, where I won't lie to you, at the beginning of the year I thought they would take a step back, just because I thought offensively they had lost a lot. But like I said here, you made a great point yesterday that they are a complete team front to back this year, and not saying that they weren't last year, but overall they play so much better and they don't depend on somebody. Where reason why we brought that up is because Jay depends on 2-3 players and feeds everything into them. Where this year with Taft, pick your poison on
Yeah,
where you're going.
yeah. With Taft, like I said, I spoke to Coach earlier, back in December, and he mentioned about how quick this team can grow. And like I said, you saw the record for them early on, the
Struggled a little bit.
non-district. It was a struggle, but I think that helped, and then they pieced things together, and now you're seeing the end result. And like I mentioned to you yesterday, out of and no disrespect to the other teams, but this Taft team could really, like I said, they're balanced. I think this is a team that can go toe to toe with one of those Austin teams. I honestly think they could do that. And
Well, they're gonna
like I
have
said,
to.
they're great in the midfield, up in the attack. One thing I was impressed at how they touch the ball, and they don't panic. When they got scored on, they could have panicked and kind of fell apart. No, they just went back into their business and got back in the game and just basically took over it. And that's and they're gonna need that. Like I said, like I said, moving forward here. But I think that's a team that I think they can go toe to toe with a team like Lake Travis or a Westlake, depending which division they're on, and even one of the Round Rock teams too. So I think they can accomplish some good things coming up, in the playoffs.
So moving to 29 for the boys. Steele 5-1-3. Clemens 5-1-2. Remember early in the year when I was bashing Clemens where they were at? Here they are. San Marcos 5-2-2. Buda Johnson slipped in the rankings or not rankings, in the standings 4-2-2. I hate to say, Canyon, I think you're out at this point. I know probably mathematically you're still alive. But to me, like I said here, Steele, Clemens, San Marcos, and Johnson, I think are going to be the playoff teams. And like I said here, I gotta pay closer attention to the green and the blue.
Yeah, so Steele is gonna go what D1. Oops.
Yeah,
Okay, Harry.
yeah. The
Okay.
cat got my thing. Yeah, the cat got my thing. Here. You can go ahead.
So Steele, like I said, great season for them. Trying to fend off their Clemens for that district title. So it's going to come down to some of those last few games there. Big surprise, even when they made the playoffs last year, as how well San Marcos has been playing. They're still in the title hunt. And believe it or not, they're still not
Mm-hmm.
out of the wood.
Well, all four teams are still in the title hunt.
Yeah, and but
mathematically.
mathematically. But Steele. But we expected Steele and Clemens to kind of be up there. I thought Canyon was gonna, even though they were moving up, I thought they were talented enough. So they may have be going some growing pains or some injuries. We don't know. Um, I don't know if they have enough to catch up. Like I said, there's only a few games left. Because like I said, it's only a 12 game district season. So they have 8, 9. So they have 3 games left.
Mm-hmm.
So like I mentioned, mathematically they're still in it, but I don't know if they have enough to catch up to Johnson.
I don't think they have enough. No.
But Steele and Clemens, like I said, it's going to come down to their games. But keep an eye on San Marcos. I think that could be a surprise team there. I think they're starting to turn the leaf there.
Moving for the ladies for 29, Steele 8-0-1. I think they've clinched the title already.
Mm-hmm.
Canyon 4-1-3. Johnson 5-2-1, and San Marcos 5-4, and then a gap for that here. So 2, 3, and 4, it's all mush together. Clemens unfortunately had a rough year for them, and Judson and East Central unfortunately, just couldn't get off to a good start in district. But Steele seems to be running away with this, and then Canyon, Johnson, or Buda Johnson, and San Marcos. It'll be interesting to see how those three finish out.
Yeah, great season for the Lady Knights. Like I said, I knew they were going to get challenged with Buda Johnson coming down because, like I said, Buda Johnson came over from District 26 6A, and you know how tough that district is. And for them making the playoffs last year, kind of made them one of the favorites here. But kudos to Steele. A little surprised with Clemens, still kind of sort of in it, but they
They're
would
not.
have to win.
No, they're not.
Well,
I know you're trying to keep them in it.
Oh, I'm just saying, like I said, mathematically, like I said, they have 10 points compared to San Marcos of 15, so that's 2 games there. But if they can't win out, they're more likely. Like I said, if San Marcos gets one more win, I think it pretty much seals the deal for them. Yeah.
District 30 boys, Del Rio 22, Eagle Pass 18, Alexander 14, Laredo United 10, LBJ 10. It's kind of recovered from the slow start. Medina Valley started out strong because I remember early they were up there, and unfortunately the travel has caught up to them, I'll say.
Yeah.
I'll blame it on the travel at 9 points. But Del Rio and Eagle Pass, 2 teams, fringe area of the area. I know you're real familiar with one of the teams. Your thoughts on 30?
Like I mentioned the last show, I think the 2 favorites going in were going to be Alexander United, but you got to give Del Rio and Eagle Pass credit on this. They've had excellent seasons. Now, can they convert that to the playoffs?
That's a separate discussion.
That's a whole separate discussion there. And we'll see. Because that District 29 6A, it is tough. I mean, like I said, you have Steel. I think they're in the Division 2 bracket. I think they could face out, and then San Marcos. Like I said, if I'm Del Rio, I'll keep an eye on San Marcos because that could be a real difficult matchup. You can ask Johnson last year. Like I said, they gave all they can handle last year, even though Johnson was able to win that game. So, but a little disappointed with Alexander United. Kind of being down. And like I said, I got to see a couple of those teams play, and I wonder if it's just the injury bugs kind of hit them and stuff, and it's just kind of not. And maybe they're starting to get healthy. Like I said, I think with LBJ, are they starting to get healthy now? So they can still in the hunt and try to overtake one of these 2 teams.
Now, on the girls' side, Castro Valley, Medina Valley has not had any trouble with the traveling. 9-0, 27 points. Laredo United, Alexander, 21 and 18. Del Rio at 18. Those are your top 4 teams. Even if you say mathematically Eagle Pass is still alive, I'm going to call it at 9-point gap. Del Rio.
They're done. They're done.
So you got Medina Valley going in as the number 1 for D2. The 2 Laredo schools fighting it out for D1. D1 as far as positioning because it's only a 1 game or technically 3 points split. And Del Rio is pretty much locked into the 2nd slot in D2. So,
Medina Valley did lose a game. Oh, they lost in PKs to United.
So. It wasn't updated yet. It wasn't updated on the score, and I couldn't.
So they did lose on that one. So they did lose on that one, but they're still ahead. They're still going to win the district title.
But you mentioned on PK, so they'd get a point 28 from
they still got a point, and then United's up to 23.
But so they'd be at 2. Well, it'd still be 10 points ahead of Del Rio. So
so Del Rio did win. I think they beat United South, so I think they're at 21. And then Alexander, I think they did beat Eagle Pass, I believe.
And to me, Laredo United's missing some games according to because they had it at 7-1. So I don't know where the other points are. Like I said, this is from RGV. Oh, sorry. RGV Soccer Scores.
Yeah, you might want to go to Laredo page.
The Laredo page. Okay, they have it updated. I looked and I didn't see anything. I saw some scores, but not consistent enough to be able to try to piece it together for that here. Moving to 31 boys. These are two quick divisions here because there's 6 and 5 schools in them respectively. Indomitas 21 points, La Jolla 13, Edinburgh North 12, West Laco at 11, and Edinburgh Bobcats at 6. 10 matches, right? They played 7, 3 games left. I'm not sure Edinburgh is going to make it, so I think your top 4 is kind of set where it's at now. So I think it's going to be set where it's at because.
Yeah, the surprise at Edinburgh North at 4-3 in district, and they were your regional finalists last year, but a little surprised that they're kind of down there. But keep an eye on Ecomedes this year. They're having a great season, and they're going to cause some problems in the playoffs.
Moving over to the ladies, Ecomedes also 5-2 at 16, West Laco at 16. Edinburgh North at 14, or from Edinburgh High at 14, Edinburgh North at 12. Just like with the boys, top 4 is set. Now the order is not set on how this finishes out.
Yeah, Westlaco started out hot, and then they've got a couple losses. We'll see if they, like I said, they're tied right now in for the first place with the Ecomedes. We'll see how this kind of finishes out. I think, like I said, Edinburgh North and Edinburgh High should have no issues as far as clinching playoff spot. I don't think La Jolla is going to catch up.
And then we got to have a discussion with Brownsville Hannah because they did not close the gap. So top 4 teams: Los Fresnos, Brownsville Vet, Harlingen, San Benito, and it's been a season for the Golden Eagles. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean. I mean, the Juan de Dios era of Hannah when they had those wonderful teams. I don't know what's happened there. I gotta ask my Uncle George and say, hey, what's going on? What's going on with them? But what are you gonna say about Fresno's great season for them? They're gonna be, like I said, Division 1 team. They can be a dangerous team. I would not. Like I said, they've played Southwest, and I know Southwest beat them. But even Southwest says that they get a good matchup. They get a good game with them playing them, so they cannot be taken lightly. Veterans Memorial is another interesting team that could maybe surprise some teams in Division 2. Keep an eye on them. They normally have, like I said, good teams every year. But kudos to Harlingen and San Benito get it in, and we'll see what happens next year for Hannah.
Poor San Benito getting in last spot and having to go D1. Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately for the ladies, San Benito is not making the playoffs. Brownsville Hannah is. But Los Fresno, once again, Harlingen, Brownsville Vets for that here. So Los Fresno is pulling the double so far, although Harlingen, I got to correct that. Got to put this on my thing. Harlingen Cardinals has to, for that here. I got to correct that.
Yes, that's right. I forgot what Ray saying. Yes, I mean the legendary Juan de Dios Garcia. Yep. Of Brownsville Hannah. Yeah. Los Fresnos, like I said, it was coming down to those two teams. Them and I think they still have to play because you can see they only had one loss, so that district title's still up for grabs, and also seeding too. So kind of the same thing with veterans and Hannah too. It's seeding's up for grabs as well. So, but those are pretty much your 4 are in.
So that completes going through the standings. Ray mentions that match is on Tuesday night for that here. So if you're traveling south, Rafa, that might be.
I'll be in Austin this week, so
You're traveling north.
I'm going north, up 35 again. I won't get to go south till 2 weeks from 3 weeks from now.
I think for the bracketology, maybe down.
Yeah, I'll be in Laredo. I'll be in Laredo. Well, so I'll be north of Ray, about 3 hours.
For that here, so. But thank you for everybody that's tuned in. I'll hopefully get this better prepared, but catching the high school games, doing house duties, or family duties. I guess not really house duties. Well, it has some house duties. Shopping. AJ, they're looking for junior coaches, and AJ's decided that he wants to go the path of Rafa. So he's gonna.
He should come learn from me. I have to give him the Chelsea Academy lesson plans.
Evidently, hold on, I forgot to transition it over. Evidently, AJ talks to his coach and because they have a class together and talks about coaching and the different playing styles and what will work. So he's thinking about it, and obviously they talked about, hey, for the training sessions you get X dollar amount per hour, and he's like, oh, hey, so hopefully that can be something to maybe he could be the new legendary Juan Dios
Garcia.
His mother's main name is Garcia. Just gonna put it out there.
or he can be the next legendary coach, Hector Cano too.
Man, Coach Cano, man, 4th place, Coach Cano, you're on the hot seat, man. I had high expectations for you. 4th place, unacceptable. But no, we got another show coming up in a half hour on this same Bat channel. For that here, we'll be adding the SAFC FanCast, talking SAFC, talking about preview of the USL for that here, and we'll kind of give it a go at that point.
Home opener Saturday,
March 8th against Monterey Bay. Hopefully we'll be able to do a show Wednesday, Thursday. We'll have to see for that here if that fits in the cards for that here. But what's life without goals? We are out of here. Hope everybody has a wonderful evening.